What's up, guys? This is Comic Confidential, the weekly podcast where we bring you all the comic-related news, and we also break down the top moments from all your DC and Marvel TV shows. I'm your host, Cade, and back in the studio today is Troy.
Hey, that's me.
That's you. You're back from holidays, mate.
I am. Well, physically I'm back.
Physically.
Mentally I'm still gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never actually thought you were mentally there.
Well, that's fair. That's fair too. But let's get into it, man. I'm keen as a bean.
Yeah, this is a big episode this week.
It is. It is a massive episode. We got some news.
Got the news, got the shows, and we got Doctor Strange.
We do, and we're going to get into that because that was good, or was it?
Or
Stay
was it?
tuned to find out.
Also, please note, 100% spoilers this episode.
Oh yeah, we tried that whole non-spoilery thing once.
It's not our thing.
It's not our thing.
That's it's like double the work for the same result.
Yeah.
Because I'm still going to talk about the spoilers.
You are, exactly. So we may as well just get the spoilers out there. If you haven't seen it by now, we do apologize, but get your shit together.
Yeah, I
if
guess.
it's not in your country, not a lot you can do.
Yeah.
But, we'll give you, what are those things called? Time codes.
Time codes, thingies.
Yeah, and
So
then you guys can basically just skip past it if you want.
If you want. Anyway, let's talk about some news. The Defenders Netflix series is only going to be 8 episodes. Is 8 episodes enough?
Is 8 enough,
I believe it would be.
you think?
Because I thought Luke Cage really dragged out. And I know you haven't finished watching it yet.
Yeah.
But it dragged, man.
Yeah, okay. So you think 13 was a bit too long?
Yeah, if it was 8, it would be perfect.
Yeah. I think with this kind of format, like if you're talking about a single hero story, then 8 probably is enough. 13 might stretch it out too long and you end up with these filler episodes and all that sort of stuff. However, we're talking about a series that has 4 major heroes in it. You've got Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, who we haven't actually seen yet. On top of that, you've got this apparently, really awesome Sigourney Weaver villain. Now, is 8 going to be enough or is it going to seem like it's all too rushed? Or will it just be basically just balls to the wall action from the start?
That's what I think it will be. Just hit the ground running and don't stop till you're done.
Yeah, well, either way, I mean, first off, we've got to see Iron Fist and see how that turns. And see kind of, because it's going to, as we've spoken about before, it'll bring in kind of like the mystical aspect a little bit, and we'll see how that works. I'm still yet to, as you said, finish Luke Cage. So, I don't know. We'll see.
You'll see.
We'll see.
You'll agree with me by the time you finish it.
Well, we'll see about that, champ. But yeah, look, 8, I don't know, man. I'd want more.
It's perfecto.
All right, we'll see. We'll see. We've got some bad news.
We got so much fucking bad news.
We have a lot of bad news. Not like terrible news or anything like that, but no one's died. But we do have the news that the Flash movie has lost director Rick Famuyiwa, and this is pretty concerning.
It is. That's the second director to drop off this project.
Yeah.
Due to creative differences.
Yeah, I know. And we're gonna get into this a little bit more like later, but this is the Warner Brothers effect.
Yeah.
And, there were talks with Batman vs. Superman. There were talks with Suicide Squad that, this company just keeps getting involved and fucking with this shit.
They're doing the Fox thing.
They are. And this is the main reason behind this split, apparently. According to reports, is that, Famuyiwa clashed with Warner Brothers over creative differences and stuff like that. And I just don't understand... Or perhaps I do now with like what we'll talk about soon, like what Warner Brothers are hoping to achieve here.
Yeah, it's interesting because we don't know exactly what's going on behind the scenes there with the Flash movie.
Yeah.
But do you think a lot of it has to do with the popularity of what the Flash TV show is, and them trying to create a different version of the same character?
Well, I don't think so, because when you look at Rick Famuyiwa as a director, he has a very, very kind of unique style. And I think what he would have brought to this would have been something that we haven't seen anyway. And but I think it would have really benefited. What's disturbing is the fact that we are deep into pre-production on this thing. So casting is well and truly sorted pretty much. We're probably months away from beginning to shoot.
You would think so.
But what do you do now? Like, and who is next to come on board? And does it really matter? Because is Warner Brothers just driving the whole thing anyway?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you just want to get like a cookie cutter director in?
Yeah.
And just fill the slot for the sake of filling the slot.
Just get Brett Ratner to come in and just fuck everything up and just be a finger puppet for Warner Brothers.
You know, who's like, Zack Snyder's probably sitting on to the side there, just jerking it. Like, come on, guys, just choose me.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'll be your finger puppet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Very concerning, and it's such a shame to lose a director of this caliber, which is so shit.
It is. It's shit. Actually, let's continue the shit storm.
Yes.
With Warner Brothers, because Ben Affleck's The Batman is rumored to be having some serious script trouble.
Or is it?
Or is it? Because there was a reduction brought out.
There was.
So look, it seems there seems to be a lot of talk about. There's a shitload, like just an absolute truckload of troubles with the script.
Yeah.
And Warner Brothers are rumored not to give a crap about it. And here's a quote, according to writer Bret Easton Ellis.
Yeah.
We don't care. We really don't care. The amount of money we're going to make globally. I mean, 70% of our audience is not going to be seeing this in English. And it doesn't really matter. These things that you're bringing up about the flaws of the script.
That's great, isn't it?
That's fantastic. That's what I really want to hear about this DC universe.
So, a couple of things. So, apparently, Bret Easton Ellis is best known for, I think, being the writer of American Psycho. And so he was at a dinner or something like that with some executives and brought up the fact that there were up to 30 issues with the script that could be fixed fairly easily. And then, the Warner Brothers executives that he were with have turned around and said this. And it's kind of like, well, then what the fuck is anyone doing? Like, why are we bothering to even care if Warner Brothers are just like, well, we just want to make money?
Yeah.
And we know we're going to make money off this anyway, so let's just bring out a pile of shit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you look at Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Perfect example of that. Shit story, made a fucking shitload of money.
Yeah, and David Ayer, the director, who everybody sort of like crucified at the time, was kind of like, well, this isn't the vision that I had.
Yeah.
This is something that was affected heavily by studio interference. And again, we seem to be getting to the point where Warner Brothers are just like, we don't give a shit. However, Bret Easton Ellis did come out and he's basically completely backtracked from what he said, saying that the executives that he spoke to or overheard or whatever it was weren't actually involved with the making of this movie and stuff like that. So you really just don't know, but that could also be Warner Brothers covering up that shitstorm.
That could be him not getting sued.
Well, yeah, basically.
Like that's what I think that is.
Yeah, it's like you redact that story and we won't take you for millions.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but man, this is just. We were talking about this yesterday, I think, in regards to superhero movie fatigue and all that sort of stuff, and how DC might have come to the ballpark too late. Any of that, like that sort of stuff, doesn't really matter. But what's concerning is that they have finally arrived, and they are bringing out movies that all of us are super super excited for. Yet Warner Brothers is just, they're just jumping in and it's like, we don't really care about the fans. We don't care what people want. We just want to make money.
Yeah.
And that's probably going to fuck everything up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, let's move on because the second trailer for Wonder Woman dropped.
For who?
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. Yeah, Wonder Woman. And this will really set, I guess, the road to failure.
Or success.
Or success, yeah.
We'll really see. And this is another one where this was another movie where not too long ago there were reports that there were major problems with it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And Patty Jenkins had to jump on, Twitter or wherever she jumped on and said, look, these are completely fabricated. There are absolutely no issues with the script or whatever, and everything's going swimmingly. And if you look at the trailer, it looks great.
It looks amazing.
Like, it looks fantastic. Wonderful, even, one might say. But you just... don't shake your head at me. But how do we even know anymore? And the thing that I get worried about, and this is another conversation that we had recently, is, I've started to kind of back away from the trailers anyway.
Yeah.
After what happened with Suicide Squad and how much like that...
Batman vs. Superman.
Same thing. And they both, basically showed us everything we were going to see in the movie anyway. So it's kind of like I've seen Wonder Woman, the first trailer. I've had a look at this one now. But to be honest with you, I might stick to trailer 1's. Teaser trailers,
Really?
trailer 1, and that's it.
And that's
I
it?
don't need to see trailer 2, 3, 4, 5,
Mate,
8, 16.
You say that now, but like even when they drop those little 30-second TV spots, you'll be like snorting that shit up.
Nah, not me, mate. I ain't about that life.
You are.
Honestly, it's think about it though. Suicide Squad was fucking ruined because of that, and I will not have that happen again to me, Cade. I will not. I'm making a stand.
Okay. Fair enough.
But let us know what you think of the Wonder Woman trailer, and do you think Warner Brothers are on the road to fucking everything up? You can use those words exactly.
Doctor Strange, you think you know how the world works? What if I told you the reality you know is one of many?
This doesn't make any sense.
Not everything does. Not everything has to.
Okay, so this week we got off our asses and then went to the cinema and got back on our asses and went and watched the highly anticipated newest entry?
Entry?
Is that the word I'm looking for?
I guess so.
Into the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the kickoff to Phase 3, Doctor Strange.
Yeah, so what's the numbers that this bad boy has pulled so far?
Oh, well, let me tell you, sir.
Because you are the numbers man.
Here's one I prepared earlier. Here's a number sheet. Okay, what we're looking at. So this, with a movie that had an estimated budget of 165 million, which is actually surprising, considering
That is surprising.
Yeah, considering the effects that are within this movie, and we'll get into that later and all that sort of stuff. But most of these movies, these Marvel movies coming out now, are ranging between that 160 to 200 to 250 million. I think Avengers was like 250 million.
Yeah, I think it was.
Something like
that's
that.
Crazy.
So for this movie to achieve what it did on $165 million, that's great. It's already brought back $165 million. So there you go. It's made its money back. So we got this movie a week before the States.
Yes.
And what it's looking at there, I think they've had something like a $32 million opening Friday, which means they're looking at about an 80 million plus opening weekend, which is pretty strong.
That's damn good.
Yeah. And considering we're looking at the 16th or 17th entry or something like that, I'm just making up numbers, but one of the double-digit entries into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that's really good, man.
It's still going strong.
It is, and that kind of points to the fact that maybe there isn't as much superhero fatigue as people might think there is.
That's right. That is absolutely right. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to give you a quick rundown. So Doctor Strange, as Troy said, is the newest movie into the MCU.
Yep.
The first one for Phase 3?
Pretty sure it's the first one for Phase 3. Could be wrong.
Could be wrong.
Let me know if I'm wrong.
Yep, we are probably wrong. But it does star Eggs Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. And I have to say, man, that casting is on point.
For Doctor Strange, specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Benedict Cumberbatch, as his actual name is.
Incorrect.
I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, man. I think they've done really good. I had some slight issues with his accent. I feel like it kind of fell in and out a little bit. Because obviously Benedict Cumberbatch is British with a name like that.
He is British. Did he instantly remind you of Dr. House? His voice, the way he acted, everything?
Maybe that's where he got his inspiration from.
Yeah, maybe, because it kind of seems like the British put on a really growly American accent.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the guy who plays Rick in The Walking Dead, same thing.
Oh, yeah, Andrew Lincoln. He is British as well.
Yeah, and it's like all that growly type of voice.
Yeah, growly voice.
Yeah, growly voice.
I think that's how, when they're teaching it. They're like, you've got to do growly voice.
You've got to talk a little like that.
Yeah, you're killing it.
Yeah, I'm killing
that's
it.
Great. You could be Doctor Strange.
I could be Doctor Strange. So anyway, what happens in the movie, Troy? He crashes his car, looking at his phone. This should be a fucking ad.
It is. It's basically a poster for not texting and driving.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't texting.
He wasn't texting, but what was he doing? Looking at files.
Yeah, so he was getting sent some files. I guess what the main point is, this sets up the whole, because he is the famed neurosurgeon that he is, and obviously, his hands
Needs
are
his hands, yeah.
exactly. And this is the accident that causes him to have them completely destroyed.
Yeah.
However, did you pick up on the couple of little Easter eggs during that little scene?
I looked hard.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, when he's actually on the phone and he's talking to whoever he's talking to,
Oh,
and
yeah,
he's
yeah,
getting the cases come through and all that sort of stuff, one of them is obviously for War Machine.
Yes.
So James Rhodes. And he just flicks that off and, basically sort of says, not, beneath me, essentially.
Yeah.
Which some people now lead them to believe that is going to cause him and Tony Stark to clash in the future.
You reckon?
Yeah, because it's kind of like, you could have helped, but you didn't. You just sort of brushed it aside and decided not to do anything. So it could cause a little bit of tension in the future.
Right.
Do you think?
I don't think so. I don't think it'll ever get brought up.
Well, they are awesome facial hair bros.
They are awesome facial hair bros, but I couldn't see that ever getting brought up, actually.
You reckon?
Yeah, it's like, how would he know that guy brought that case to him?
Well, because
He's Tony Stark. He's
Tony
hacking
Stark. He
into
knows,
shit.
Yeah, exactly. He knows everything.
Yes. So anyway, this effectively leads Doctor Strange to go on a worldwide journey to fix his hands.
Yeah, essentially tries all sort of methods under the sun.
Yeah, all Western medicine.
Essentially
Now,
spends his fortune.
yeah, he completely runs it dry.
Yeah.
So basically, wham bam, thank you, ma'am. I'm a motherfucking sorcerer.
Exactly.
And it really almost happens that quick.
It does. But you might think that it happens like a little bit too conveniently quick.
Yeah.
But the whole thing with Doctor Strange is that, and I think Mordo or someone references it later, it's kind of, you were born for the mystic
Yes.
arts. So it's, like while it might seem that he picks it up a little easy, it's kind of because he has this natural, like sort of God-given, if you will, ability to pick them up. So
Well, that's fair, but like, there's no sense of how long he's been training. Like, is it weeks? Is it months? Is it years?
I would say that you're looking at months.
You reckon it's
probably.
months? Because I could almost say it's weeks.
You reckon?
Yeah, because when he returns back to the city,
Yeah.
it's almost like people didn't question how long he was gone.
Where have you been or anything
Yeah.
like that? Yeah, look, again, I don't think it really matters because this is a situation where he's the world's most gifted neurosurgeon. He says he's got a photographic memory and all that sort of stuff, and that's what helped him sort of learn this and get his 2 degrees or whatever at the same time and all this sort of crap. But again, it comes back to the fact that he is just so naturally gifted, and obviously Mordo sees it, and the Ancient One sees it, and to a lesser extent, Wong even sees it. So while it might seem rushed, I think it's fine. In my opinion,
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
Like I think it's fine that
It-
they
it-
kind
it
of
is.
rushed through it, and he picked it up as quickly as he did. Once he kind of realized that he was in control, it had nothing to do with his hands or his cripple sort of whatever.
His mindset. Yeah. No, I feel you. Is it just me, or does it kind of seem like anyone in the universe can like become a sorcerer?
Yeah.
Like that's what it's saying, isn't it?
Well-
like anyone can learn magic.
Effectively, it's like apologies in advance because I don't remember the name of the place that they actually go to. It's like Nash or something like that. But yeah, it's effectively like if you have some sort of crippling injury or something like that, or any one of us can go on this quest to this place and have an invitation to sit with the Ancient One and see if we're good at magic or not.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I'm going to give it a go.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going Kathmandu.
You're going to Kathmandu.
I am.
Let's bloody do it. But yeah, the Ancient One takes him in, sends him on this mystical journey, and then kicks him out.
Yeah.
Like, how can you do that if you're not going to... Like, you've basically just revealed magic's in the world.
Yeah. But I think it's kind of like because... And again, it's referenced in the fact that, she sees a lot of the sort of whether you want to call him the main villain or not, but Mads Mikkelsen's character, Caecilius.
Yeah.
So she sees a lot of him in Doctor Strange already with the arrogance and the questioning and, all this sort of stuff. So it's kind of like, she's more concerned about whether she's going to lose another sort of gifted sorcerer to the dark side.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of leads to that. It's like, this is what you're missing out on, but get the fuck out because, you're basically just an arrogant prick.
Yeah.
Which he was completely.
He was an arrogant prick. Look, what do you think of the villains?
I think, in all honesty, Mads Mikkelsen was probably a little bit underused.
Yeah, and that's a common Marvel thing.
Yeah.
To not use their villains
effectively.
enough. Yeah.
Because you had two.
You had to.
Or did you have three? We'll talk about that later. But you had two, and obviously Caecilius was one and Dormammu was the other.
Yes.
And Dormammu was the big end, sort of, the third act, and that'll probably lead to something later on down the track, I reckon anyway.
Yeah. That character alone completely changes how this universe works.
Yeah, for sure. And it's basically, it opens up the whole multiverse and the fact that, there are all these different realities and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we can start to get villains from absolutely anywhere, which is great. But with going back to Mads Mikkelsen, I think he's such a, when it comes to villains, like if you've seen Hannibal or anything like that, or even Casino Royale,
Yeah.
for his Le Chiffre, he plays such a good villain. And I feel like he was a little bit underused. The threat level wasn't really there at all until the end.
Yeah, there was nothing on the line, and then everything was on the line in a matter of seconds.
Yeah. It was kind of like, they're kind of doing nothing. Oh, now, okay, they've opened this gateway to the dark world or whatever it was.
The dark dimension. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I think it was a little bit underused. It was a little bit disappointing in that aspect, but this movie had so much else going for it. I think it kind of, the best way I can explain this movie, right, is that the storyline follows the same formulaic Marvel storyline.
Yeah,
pretty
the
much.
cookie cutter approach.
Yeah, it's the cookie cutter approach, but everything else around it is so completely different. You kind of forgive it for that.
Yeah, this is honestly Iron Man with magic.
Yeah, if in the sense that, in my opinion, and I think I said this after we watched it, and I watched it twice because I was falling asleep the first time, jet lag, not because it was boring, but what I referenced is that easily the best Marvel origin story, since Iron Man.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, did I enjoy it more than Iron Man? Probably not at the time. When I first saw Iron Man, I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But I've had 15 other movies to sit through as well. But this one was fresh to me. And it was kind of like looking at something completely different. And it's kind of made me feel that, there probably is hope for the Marvel Cinematic Universe beyond, into this phase 3 and beyond.
Right, okay. I have a little bit of a gripe, about how the villain worked.
Yeah, okay.
And, I guess it's not how the villain worked. I guess it's how the villain worked into the story.
Right.
Doctor Strange, he wasn't even aware that there was, evil magic.
Yeah.
And he is instantly thrown into it to start protecting.
Yeah. Are you saying, so he's basically gone from being on the doorstep to being the master of the New York Sanctum Sanctorum sort of thing.
And he was literally and this is movie convenience to push a plot along.
Yeah.
He was kind of like, oh, look, I don't want to have anything to do with this shit. He was on his way out.
Yeah.
He was literally going to the door to leave.
Yeah.
And of course, Mads Mikkelsen busts in, destroys one of the the gatekeepers.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now he is fucking... Well, technically, he actually does not become the Sorcerer Supreme.
No.
So that's
not during this movie.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But essentially becomes that.
Yeah, look, I think, again, it's kind of like, he has to go through these trials and tribulations and be thrust into these situations in order to really sort of, kind of come to grips with the fact that he can be something more than just his hands. And he can be a protector of people more than just, by being a surgeon and things like that. And that's the first way that he kind of sees that. And he's just kind of like, what are you going to do? You're not going to not help, are you?
Yeah, that's exactly
right. So he
right.
kind of jumps in and he thrusts himself into this thing. And mind you, that particular scene, that whole scene was fantastic, man. That was like one of my favorite scenes of the movie. But what it then leads to is it leads to not the revelation, but when he's talking to the Ancient One, right when, spoiler alert, the Ancient One dies. And that's kind of when he realizes, like, when the Ancient One says to him, it's not about you.
Yeah,
And
he
kind of,
he sheds those layers of arrogance and kind of he becomes humble and accepts what he needs to do.
Exactly.
But it's all done very, very quickly.
Yeah, but you have to understand that they've only got 2 hours to make this happen. This isn't like a Netflix series or something like that where you can have 13 episodes to lead up to that. You've got such a small amount of time to make it happen. And I think for this one in particular, they did, again, just my opinion, but I think they did a really good job of kind of forcing him into these situations where he has to just accept it regardless of whether he wants to or not.
No, that's a fair point.
And again, going back to the fact that he's so gifted at this, that's kind of why it seems to be like astral projection. And, Len Wong's like, you're not ready for that. But there he is, reading like a book sort of while he's sleeping.
Yeah.
So, it's just he has these gifts.
Yeah.
So, I didn't mind.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Let's talk about the visuals, because this is what the movie excels in the most. For me, I feel like the story could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I could forgive that because this movie is just visually spectacular.
Visually, like one of the best things I've seen in quite some time.
Yeah.
And it takes you back to, and this has been referenced a bit, but it takes you back to the first time you saw The Matrix.
Yeah.
And you're just like, holy shit, like how are they doing this? And bullet time comes to, like they use the bullet time camera and all that sort of crap. And you're just like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And this is, while it might not necessarily be the best thing you've ever seen, it's so completely different to anything we've seen in the Marvel Universe before. I think it's just... It's brilliant in that aspect, and I think the directors and all that sort of thing have done a fantastic job with it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And like the one thing I like is how the magic works within these visuals.
Yeah.
So it almost seems like they have a physical connection to it.
Yeah.
So that's something that I noticed in this movie. Like these guys aren't just waving their hands and things are happening.
Yeah.
It almost looks like they have to physically like squeeze the magic out to make these shields. And
well, the kind of, I think it's the writers or something like that, sort of went on record to say that they didn't want to create something where it was just, there were guys like throwing lightning bolts out of their hands and stuff like that. They effectively had to tap into this other dimension to get access to this magic.
Yeah, right.
Like it's not just some, innate thing that's like within them and they can...
And they just wave a hand.
And it goes to, when you... Like the whole way that Doctor Strange finds out about this place is the guy, who broke his back or whatever and, went to whatever the place is called and, basically fixed his back through magic and all that sort of crap. The whole point that they sort of thing is that he basically taps into, the magical dimension at all times.
At all times to help his body move.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what they're trying to get at. It's not something that's, just like lightning bolts from the fingers. It's something that they actually have to tap into in these other dimensions.
Yeah, it pays off really, really well.
Definitely.
Another thing that I really liked about how their magic work is that they have physical objects, or they need physical objects to perform some things, like the 2-finger rings to open up portals.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And it really creates a sense of urgency when they lose it in the fights.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And it's, with the relics and all that. And I think Mordo has the staff of the Living Tribunal and all that. Like, it's so cool that it's not just... Again, it's not just these guys that can just, shoot lightning bolts and, make rabbits disappear or whatever magic is, but like it's things that are beyond the human body to actually contain. So, they have to put them into these relics. And all
that's
that sort
it.
of stuff.
There's a limitation to what the body can do.
Exactly.
So they have to, it's like you said, put it in staffs, put it in nunchucks, put it in whatever they want.
Yeah, exactly. And nunchucks. I'd put my magic in nunchucks. That's damn sure. But yeah, look, it's cool. I think the way they did it and the way they went about it was really good. It could have been bad. It could have been very cheesy, but they didn't do that, man.
Well, yeah, I completely understand what you mean there, and that's going to take me to my next point is that, the super impressive use of magic within the fights.
Yeah.
So an example would be, look, it's not used outrageously.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, the worlds are folding in on itself and blah, blah, blah. It's visually spectacular.
Yeah.
but what they're doing is not ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think the way it's explained by being within the mirror dimension,
Yes.
and that's how it doesn't affect the outside world and all that sort of stuff. Like I think that was handled really well. Because when you look at the trailers, you're like, well, how is any of this happening?
Yeah.
And people, like cars aren't falling off and all this sort of stuff. But when you get there and you understand,
The laws of the magic are explained incredibly easily.
yeah, exactly. For non-magicians or muggles,
Like
I
myself.
believe we're called.
Yes.
Yeah, like us, it's it's done in a really good sort of really good way. I loved it.
Yeah, so did I. It was absolutely unreal. Old mate's boots, how we can wrap around the walls and shit like that.
Yeah.
That's a great use of magic. You can't really beat that.
Yeah,
One thing that was good too is like everyone's essentially on the same level.
Yeah.
For I guess magical abilities.
relatively.
Yeah, you do have like, let's say, the Sorcerer Supreme,
Yeah.
who is the next level, but that's one person.
Yeah,
Everyone else, all the villains, all the good guys, they're kind of like on the same level. So
Yeah.
the magic becomes a very hand-to-hand combat.
yeah,
Same.
definitely. It's kind of like, I guess the only downfall or the thing that I kind of questioned a little bit is that, like, was there a lot of point to all these moving buildings and all that sort of stuff? Because, when you're looking at like having people fall off the edges of things and stuff like that, I mean, if you've got the boots and if you've got the cloak of levitation,
Yeah.
like, does it matter?
Yeah,
like, is it
exactly.
really going to affect anything? And yes, there's stuff flying at your head and like all that sort of stuff, but I mean, I don't know. If you can control buildings and the world around you like that, and you can warp the reality and all that sort of stuff, why aren't you picking up buildings and throwing them at people?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Great point.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Rather than just having them collapse on themselves and hope that someone gets trapped in there and, crushed.
Yeah.
Why aren't you just picking up a building and throwing it?
Well, that's a really good point, actually.
mate.
Because one of my points I got here is like, I guess what they didn't do it that way because they wanted to create a real sense of danger.
Yeah.
I mean, the fight will be over in 2 seconds if that could happen.
Well, yeah.
But it is a really good point that you bring up.
I think at the end of the day, though, it's just visually beautiful.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't matter. And you don't really sit there questioning it. And
You don't question the logic
Yeah,
of-
exactly. You're kind of just on this trip.
Yeah.
And I think that works really well. And you end up just kind of being sort of submerged in this world. And you forget about all that sort of logic and whatnot.
One thing about this movie that really surprised me?
What?
The amount of humor that was in it.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
It was, and I didn't know, but it's very typical Marvel, though, isn't it? Like,
It is.
In the sense of, they always have that comic relief,
Yeah.
whether it's a person or whether it's, just situations or whatever. And they did the same thing again, but it was cool. Again, it's kind of, not everything has to be dark and, dirty and gritty and, the whole world is going to sort of fall down on your head.
Yeah.
It's good to have that humor within there.
Yeah, it kind of breaks up the negativity, like you're saying.
Yeah, for sure. And they did it well. The cloak of levitation in itself, became, sort of like
It became
almost
a
like,
character.
Yeah, it became a character,
Yeah.
almost like a comic relief in itself, which I think was pretty cool. And again, that goes back to that first fight scene with Caecilius and Doctor Strange. With the cloak of levitation involved and all that sort of stuff, it was cool.
Yeah. The cloak of levitation, it felt very Harry Pottery to me.
Did it?
Yeah. It's all like that. I really, and this movie is essentially about wizards. Like, let's say it.
Let's just get it out there.
Yeah.
This is Marvel's Harry
Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it did. It felt very like it belonged in the Harry Potter universe.
Yeah.
The only other thing it also reminded me of,
Yeah.
Aladdin's rug.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Like very, very similar.
Yeah.
I could honestly imagine the R&D team
Yeah. Probably looked at that
looked at that and
yeah.
like adapted a lot from it.
Yeah, but it worked well, man. Like you said, it kind of became a character of its own.
Yeah, definitely. I like the way how he used the little portals to pinch all the books from Old Mate in the library.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And like it's just those little tiny things that they're subtle.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be like straight up in your face slapstick comedy.
Yeah.
But yeah, little subtle things like that really worked.
But in saying that, there were a few moments in the movie where like some humor was forced.
Yeah.
Especially when I guess the fight scene. He's like, Doctor Strange, Mr. Strange, who am I to judge?
Yeah, but I thought that was fine.
Did you?
Because he doesn't necessarily understand like what the guy is saying. So it's Mr. Doctor or whatever, It's, like I thought it was fine. Like I get what you're saying, but in my humble opinion, I think it was okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you think of the time jam?
Yeah.
Or actually, let's just throwing it straight out there, fucking around with an Infinity Stone, mate.
Yeah, mate, just pick up the nearest thing that's near you.
Yeah.
And it's an Infinity Stone. And you're just like, oh yeah, just wear it around my neck. I don't know, man. I thought it was really good. Again, well, let's talk about the whole the whole third act, I guess, because that's where the gem sort of comes mostly into play, and this is where we get to see Dormammu and all that sort of stuff. I think while I enjoyed it, and again visually it was spectacular, I feel like it was like while it was clever, it was kind of like a really sort of quick fix.
Yes.
Which, kind of like this thing that was supposed to be the end of the world as we knew it, it was kind of wrapped up very, very quickly and conveniently. But it was done in a clever way that maybe most people wouldn't have thought of doing.
Yeah. Watching that final scene made me second guess what was going on for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
Just because it kept repeating, I was like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, okay, I'm with you.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
So
then it was clever.
It was clever,
but it was just very neat, and it was just very sort of all wrapped up in a nice, neat bundle within 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
After 2 hours of origin story, we kind of get to the end, and it's like, bam, done.
Yeah.
It's the only real sort of downfall that I have, but again, that comes to the Marvel cookie cutter story approach, which can be forgiven because of the performances and because of the action and because of the visuals and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's what I believe.
All right. You want to rate it?
Yes.
Oh wait. Do you want to talk about the after credit scenes?
Well, yeah, okay. So there are two for those of you playing at home. So there's a mid credits and an end credit scene. The mid-credit scene?
Mid-credit scene. This gets me excited.
Does it?
It gets me really excited because the mid-credit scene, we have Thor coming to Doctor Strange, asking him to help find my dad.
Hey.
He went walkabout and he's gone.
Well, it's kind of, and it's more like Doctor Strange is kind of like, if you will take Loki and fuck him off of Earth.
Well, no, he said all Asgardians.
Well, there
Earth.
you go. Yeah. So, all Asgardians and just, fuck off back home. I'll gladly help you.
Yeah.
If it's gonna, if it's gonna protect Earth, I'm in. I think it's a good lead up into Thor Ragnarok.
It makes me think we are going to see like 3 of the most powerful Marvel characters in one movie.
Yeah, potentially. And it does align with the whole, the on-set photos of. I think it was like Thor had the business card of Doctor Strange
with his address on there,
and it also wraps up like with Thor: The Dark World. And there have been movies in between that, but it's never quite explained what happens to Loki and like where is he and what happened to Odin once Loki went back and kind of usurped the throne or whatever, and why Thor was missing from Civil War and all that sort of stuff. So I think it'll wrap all that up neatly as well, which is good.
Yeah, it's interesting to see where this falls in the timeline because we were always kind of under the impression that he, I guess, went into training very early, and was away for the entire events of what happened in the incident, and everything else, and Ultron and all that, But he was there, he was there
the whole time, just had no magic,
didn't care.
All right, and let's talk about the after credit scene, which is really, to sit there for 20 minutes of credits, to get to this scene, it's probably not what you would call necessary.
Yeah.
But like what it does do is it sets up Baron Mordo to be the villain that he is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And you could see his change in character and we didn't even really talk about the performances, from any of the actors or anything, but like just rest assured they are all very good. But in my opinion, you're looking at me like maybe not. But, what it does do over the course of the movie, you kind of see Baron Mordo, who has been this kind of like this very stoic, sort of strict, like, these are the rules, like this is what we're supposed to do. And he sees more and more people bend them and break them and bend them and break them. And it kind of gets to a point where he's like, well, you know what? Fuck it. magic is not for everybody.
Yes.
Magic is for the people who are going to obey the rules and who are going to do, like the things they're supposed to do. And fuck anybody that isn't, I'm going to take it off them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So it's the whole full circle, from good guy to bad guy, if that's even a circle. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Half circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we're looking for. And he'll probably come back in Doctor Strange 2 as the main villain.
Yeah, I don't think that Baron Mordo will affect the next couple of movies at all.
No.
He'll just be around doing his thing,
Yeah.
killing other wizards.
Yeah, and it'll all come back and culminate
Yeah.
within the next Doctor Strange movie. Which, just quickly before we do move on to rate, I think, this is something that I think we were speaking about yesterday maybe, but it's, as we're talking about, coming into phase 3 and all that sort of stuff, and we're kind of leaving behind the Avengers and we're bringing in these new characters and all that sort of stuff. I think this is a really good starting point to how exciting and interesting and new and different these characters can be.
Yes.
When you're talking about the Doctor Strangers and the Captain Marvels and all this sort of stuff, the Guardians of the Galaxy to a lesser extent. I think we're in a really good position moving forward thanks to Doctor Strange.
Yeah. I've got one question about this movie for you.
Yeah.
How would Joe Smith off the street go watching this movie? Do you think this movie will appeal to non-diehard fans?
Well, neither you or I are a diehard fan of Doctor Strange necessarily.
That's right.
But I think as far as origin stories go, I think it's really good. And because it does kick off phase 3, maybe it's an okay starting point for some people. But I think visually, they'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Whether they'll really fully understand not so much the story, but the side events that are happening around it, maybe not.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it actually comes from this.
Yeah.
Where we go to. So, all right, let's move on to rating it. What'd you think?
Well, I want to know what you think because you were the one who was questioning all the percentages that it was
Yes.
getting on like Rotten Tomatoes and all that sort of stuff, which is rated quite highly.
It is. It's rated very, very highly.
In the 90s.
In the 90s, yeah, that's crazy. There is a conspiracy.
There is.
There has to be.
Illuminati confirmed.
Wah, wah, wah. All right, I'm going to give this 75%.
75.
75%. What? Mate.
You are a nutcase, mate.
No.
What did you give Suicide Squad?
70.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nah, you went way higher than that.
Troy, if there's anything people know about our ratings is that they don't mean much.
All right, well then why do we rate things?
Because it's fun and people like it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
75.
75.
You're a nutcase, but that's fine.
Everything just kind of worked out a little bit too well.
Yep.
Yeah, there was really no sense of no drama,
Yeah.
no threat. Like even when the dark dimension was coming in,
Yep.
I wasn't like, oh no. It was just you're gonna fix it. You've got the Eye of Agamotto. You're gonna bloody turn back time,
Yeah.
and that was it. Like there was no sense of like danger, nothing like that.
Yeah. That's fair.
Looks super pretty.
Yep.
I'll look at it all day.
Okay.
But 75, I enjoyed it. It was fun.
75. Jesus wept. I would say closer to between 85 and 90 for me. And by no means a perfect movie, and I'm not saying that it's that, but I'm saying that it's something that, this is a completely different sort of thing that than we've seen before. And for having Marvel movie after Marvel movie after Marvel movie, this is completely different. And, it kicks off phase 3 perfectly. The story was, Marvel. The story, that's the best way you can put it. The storyline was Marvel. The performances were great. Benedict Cumberbatch was perfect, really. Like it's the Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. casting of Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
If I can be so bold.
It'll be interesting to see how these people are going to afford to put all these people in one movie.
Ugh, man, these movies make millions/billions of dollars.
Yeah, but
I'm pretty sure they can pay for these people's salaries.
Yeah, but Robert Downey Jr. is pulling in $200 million a movie.
Yeah, I don't think it matters, man. I
don't?
think they will throw $400 million at Robert Downey Jr. to get him in the movie.
You crazy, man.
Anyway, 85 to 90. Let's say 88. I'll give it a solid 88.
Fair enough.
But yeah, loved it.
Let us know what you thought of the movie. Tweet us at ComicConPod. And let us know if Troy is shooting way too high with that rating.
Whatever. And that's going to bring us to the weekly wrap, the segment where we wrap up the top moments from all the week's TV shows, starting off with The Walking Dead, and welcome to the kingdom.
Yeah, welcome indeed. So that is top moment number 1. Welcome to the kingdom. King Ezekiel and Shiva, his damn tiger.
Damn.
Man, that tiger, like, I know it's like TV budget CGI.
Yeah.
But it looked pretty good.
It did look pretty good. There were moments where I thought it was a genuinely real tiger, and other moments where I'm like, that tiger's damn fake.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
It is really cool,
Who
man.
the fuck else has a tiger on TV right now?
That's a status symbol right there.
It is. And I think we get to learn that sort of a little bit later as to how he attained Shiva and all that sort of stuff.
Yes, we do, and we'll touch on that. But one thing that we learned about the kingdom is that it's a very calm place.
Very calm.
It's almost ignorant to the fact of what's going on outside.
Yeah. And I think Ezekiel says at some point that that's kind of the way he wants to keep it. Like, they don't need to know what's happening outside of the walls, because they should feel comfortable. And why can't they have this sense of normalcy and all that sort of stuff? So, and he's got a point. I mean, you don't need to know what's happening, like the horrors of the outside world.
Yeah, that's right.
Carol would disagree and say that everyone's unprepared and like all that sort of stuff. But man, like, fuck, you just chill, just have a day off.
Yeah, girl. I mean, we've got kids in there doing school. That's fantastic. Like, that's such an overlooked thing in this Walking Dead world.
Read a book, son.
Read a book, mate.
Yeah.
Bloody good. And I'll tell you what, motherfucking Jerry.
Motherfucking Jerry.
Ezekiel's right-hand man. He's like my new favorite character.
Yeah, pretty funny.
He's hilarious, man.
Yeah. I think this is like, I don't actually, now that you kind of think about it, can you think about any other character that they've really had that has been like a dead set comic relief on this show?
You could have said Abraham was, but he's like a different. Like, he's a hard ass motherfucker.
Yeah, like talking about like stomping people's nuts and stuff.
Yeah,
different kind of humor, you would say. But this guy's like deuces and like all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
like, he's funny.
He's great. I love him.
I liked it. Top moment number 2, then. How about the kingdom is poisoning the saviors?
Oh, damn, man.
Oh, damn. Tainted meat.
Tainted meat.
As it were. Makes you want to give up pork. Because essentially what they're doing is they're farming pigs. Well, they're not farming pigs, but they've got pigs that they have to give to the saviors. And they do all of this off campus, as it were, so out of the compound.
Of the seeing eye.
Yeah, so no one else can really sort of see what's going on, but effectively what they're doing is they're feeding these pigs zombie meat, and that is disgusting, but be pretty clever.
Yes, it is. It's very reminiscent of when the wolves ate Bob's leg.
Yeah, poor Bob.
R.I.P.
Yeah,
but yeah, the whole tainted meat thing, and the thing. Like, the law of tainted meat in the Walking Dead universe doesn't work how this show is teasing it.
Yeah.
I guess the tainted meat, it won't kill you right away, but it slowly you get sick from it.
Yeah. Is it just more that you get sick to the point that you might die? And then, like you'll obviously anytime you die, you become a zombie or whatever.
Yeah.
But is it because it's not going to turn you, is it?
No, not at all.
Yeah. So it's just very slow, painful, gross, disgusting zombie meat poisoning.
Yeah. It's actually really interesting the way that the virus is kind of carried on. Well, everyone's got the virus. That's the thing in The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So it's only when you pass on or you're bitten that the virus is, I guess, flared up.
Yeah.
Because we saw in Fear the Walking Dead last season that Nick was eating a dog that walkers were just eating.
Yeah. And that was fine, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you just, I guess it's kind of, is it borderline inconsistent? That you don't really sort of know what's good and what's not. It's kind of the same with smearing your face with zombie guts
and
blood. Like, if that gets in your mouth, Are you gone?
Surely you would think so, right?
So you just don't know.
Because these people are like, they're killing fucking zombies left hand, right hand, everywhere. And like blood gets in your eyes, man. That's like straight into your bloodstream.
Yeah. And if it's from like, if a zombie can bite you and, you contract, the disease or whatever from there, or you die from the infection or whatever it is, you turn a lot quicker. That's for damn sure. Is that like a saliva-based thing, or like what is it? Are they even
it might be like a
producing
viral
saliva?
thing.
Like who knows? And then if that's the case, if they're eating, say, the dog from Fear the Walking Dead, shouldn't that then in effect taint that meat?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we've spoken about tainted meat for too long.
Yeah, we have.
But-
It is interesting, like, concept of how that would work.
Yeah,
and I think it'll get explained.
Oh, definitely. I think it will. And I think it's definitely something that we're going to come back to at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll take us to top moment number 3, and that's Ezekiel comes clean.
Yeah. So this is a kind of a situation where Carol has kind of believed this whole place to be, almost like a fantasy world.
Yeah.
And right from the start. And it's kind of, she's not wrong in the sense that that's kind of what Ezekiel has created.
Yeah.
And he comes clean, as to who he is and why he's done what he's done.
Yeah, this whole episode kind of had a Wizard of Oz like theme to it.
Yeah.
Because especially with him saving the tiger, it's not a lion.
Yeah.
But, it kind of had those, like, I feel like it had those traits with it.
Sure. Because there was a lion and a tiger and an animal. There was an animal and,
Mate,
a Tin Man.
you are ridiculous. But, it's a really clever use of using Shiva as a metaphor for Carol.
Yeah. And this is a situation where he's kind of, he's basically said, I'm just a regular person.
Yeah.
But these people needed a leader. So I gave them one.
Yeah.
And I gave them this fantastical leader. And, they created stories of, like a man comes in with a tiger and all of a sudden, he wrestled it to the ground.
Yeah,
and
that's
tamed
it.
and like all that sort of stuff.
And he doesn't correct anyone. He's letting them create their own fantasy.
Exactly. And that's the fantasy world, as such that, he has created for these people.
Yeah.
And it seems to be working.
And he actually talks about Shiva, the tiger, in the sense of Carol, like she's a force of nature that can't be stopped.
Carol?
Well, yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
But also Shiva, he's using Shiva as the metaphor.
Yeah.
For Carol. And it's kind of like, she's a force that can't be stopped, but she's on a chain.
Yeah.
She can leave whenever she wants.
Yeah.
So I
But
thought
she chooses not to.
she chooses not to. She moves down the road just to keep an eye out.
Yeah. I think like the biggest takeaway for me from this is like, does this take away from the bad acidness of the character that we probably all thought Ezekiel was going to be? Like, do you think he is now the person who is, going to be the one that takes down the Saviors and Negan and all that sort of stuff? Because he's just a regular dude.
So you think he's all show, no go?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe to the point, like he's probably a very good leader and, and has, obviously built this entire friggin' community out of nothing. But is he now the guy with the tiger and the cool ass dreads and all that sort of stuff? That's that's going to be the end of Negan. I don't think so.
Yeah, either do I. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
What do you rate it?
Look, I think for me it was. What are we doing now anyway with the ratings? Did we go to 10 or are we on 5 still?
5s, mate.
Are we still on 5s?
Yeah.
I've been going for so long. Okay, so out of 5, I'd give it a 4.
Yeah.
And that's a borderline 4 because it was just like, while the story was good, it just didn't really do a lot.
Yep.
Action wise and all that sort of stuff. It was all there basically as a plot point for 2 things. And that's for Carol to realize that she does still have a place in the world, and for Morgan to kind of realize that he also has a place in the world. So, I think that's it. More interested to see what happens next week.
Yeah, exactly. 4.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
Teetering on it as well.
Yeah.
And all the same reasons you said. That will take us to Supergirl.
Oh, Supergirl.
Supergirl. And top moment number 1, it's Alien Fight Club.
Alien Fight Club. First rule about Alien Fight Club, you don't talk about it, but everyone does.
Everyone does, and everyone comes and watches.
Yeah.
Like with really weird glasses on.
Yeah, like some sort of masquerade ball or something like that. interesting, because this is my first time to talk about Supergirl now that it's back on the CW and not back on the CW, but on the CW and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not. I'm still not sold.
It's still cheesy.
Yeah, it has the most amount of cheese of all the shows, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's its own thing. But yeah, you can see it, and you can see it within this episode as well.
Yeah.
But back on track. Just wanted to
get that off your chest.
Get that off my chest. Yeah. So talking about the Alien Fight Club, it's just like aliens, man. They're just everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere.
This season, it's just like the whole world knows about aliens, and the whole world is cool about aliens.
Yeah, 100. Well, not so much. Not cool. They kind of use it as a metaphor for sort of like racial tension and all that sort of stuff. But it's kind of, I don't know, man. It's very much in line with kind of how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is doing the Inhumans at the moment.
Yeah.
But far out, there are fucking aliens everywhere. Everywhere.
It's crazy. Last season, few and far between.
Yeah.
Now they're just walking the streets.
Yeah, like they've got their own bars and everything that they can go to for solace and all this sort of stuff. I think it's a situation where it's kind of like, was this ever explained?
No, it wasn't. It's just kind of like it's popped out of nowhere, and the public's kind of on board with it.
Yeah, okay.
Like, okay, there's aliens.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. What did you think about the whole Fight Club aspect anyway?
Man, I thought it was shit.
Yeah.
I thought it was just fucking terrible. This show does shit fight scenes, eh? You compare it to Arrow and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Definitely.
Who are on point with that, like, those fight scenes. Man, this is just... I swear, you see about 18 cutscenes for a single punch.
Yeah. It's not great. And I think it comes down to, the whole... how epic... should have a showdown between the Martian Manhunter and Miss Martian. How epic should it have been?
Exactly.
And it wasn't at all. It was very
lackluster,
very meh, as you would put it, and disappointing.
Yeah, very bad. Let's go. Moment number 2.
Yes. Mon-El wants to be a superhero. So this kid, he's very, very quickly acclimatizing to... the sort of the earth and, the earthly things to do, like frat boying it out and all that sort of stuff, and wants to get out there and, have a drink and party on.
Yep.
But that's essentially what how they're portraying the Daxams to be anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like they were like fast and loose and lived a quarter mile at a time.
So this guy kind of gets into it with Win.
Yeah,
and
they seem to be like pretty buddy-ish, don't they?
Yeah,
it's a good use of Win, actually.
It is a good use of Win, and I think it's a character that, while he may have very, very conveniently come into this job in the DEO,
how he got it is fucking beyond me.
Yeah, but so he has come into this job, and I think it's a much better use of the character than what they were doing previously.
Yeah.
So that's good. But back to Mon-El. So this is a situation where he's kind of trying to test his abilities and see, how strong he is.
Yes.
And there's a reference where he sort of says, am I as strong as Kara? And Win's like, oh, not even close.
Yeah.
But that's fine. But this is a situation where, this is one of these things that shits me about this TV show, is that her power set is very, very inconsistent.
Yes.
So, is she really this supremely strong being that she's supposed to be? Because every other alien is punching her, 4 times across the room.
That's exactly it. That is exactly it. We saw her...
So I guess my point is, how shit is Mon-El?
Well, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
We see Kara, kind of takes it upon herself. I don't understand why she feels like she needs to, she's obliged to do this, because she's 100% not.
Yeah.
But she feels that she has to train him.
Yeah. And basically it comes about because she didn't get the chance to be there for Clark by being stuck in the Phantom Zone. By the time she got here, Clark was a fully grown man. He had already become Superman, as she would say. And it's just she never got to fulfill what was her entire purpose.
Her destiny.
Of being sent to Earth. So now she feels like this is a chance that she gets to do that. And we'll see what happens. We'll see where that goes from there. Do you see a romance brewing?
100%.
They can't just not do it, can they?
Can't. Yeah, they just can't do it.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where, you've got a male, you've got the female lead. If anytime a new male comes on board, there is a love interest. Same with how Arrow was going for the longest time as well. Anytime there was a new female, definitely going to be Oliver's love interest.
It would be so fantastic to have like a superhero show that didn't involve like a subplot of romance.
Yeah. This is Supergirl though, and I think it's not necessarily directed to 20-something males or
of course,
something like that. Like this is something where it's directed more to like the teenage girl and things like that. And I think a romance is a fine aspect to have within a show, whether it's this show or Arrow or anything like that. It's just got to be done well, and it can't be done cliched.
Yeah,
it's like just because there is a new male character does not mean that these two have to like get together.
Yeah,
it's frustratingly cliched.
It is, and it's unoriginal.
Yeah,
like it's just shit. Anyway, let's move on. Top moment number 3 is Miss Martian is a white Martian.
What?
Oh, what? If you fucking didn't know this, you're a dickhead.
You are a dickhead. Yeah, it was always coming.
Yeah,
wasn't it? Disappointing in the sense that it could have, and we don't know what's going to happen, but it might have been nice to have like a second Martian on the show.
Yeah.
In the sense of someone for John Jones to bond with and all that sort of stuff. But this ain't it, son.
Nah, mate, you're flying solo.
Yeah, I would not bond with this particular one. She crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what that happens. Like how that.
Yeah.
Progresses.
I would have really loved to seen her become the White Martian in the ring.
Yeah, and then that was the big reveal.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like, holy shit, now there's like a friggin'... Yeah, you right there, champ?
Yeah, sorry, mate. Just so popular.
Yeah, I know. Hollywood. But yeah, anyway, moving on. What do you rate it?
3.
Yeah?
3. And like, it's scraping the 3.
Yeah.
It's just like... It's hard sometimes.
I'd give it a 3.25 maybe.
Yeah.
Just because I'm feeling nice. This, like, while it hasn't fully impressed me, it's definitely a lot better than it was last season. So don't get me wrong in that sense.
Yep.
Like, it's come a long way, but it's got a long way to go.
Yeah, definitely. I think it'll get better as the season goes on.
Yeah.
I'm really, really can't wait for them to turn Jimmy Olsen into a vigilante.
Yeah, that's very weird. Very, very weird.
That's CW, man.
We were talking about this. This is the CW effect where every character either has to be a superhero or a vigilante.
Or a love interest.
You can't be just a person walking down the street.
Yeah.
If you get enough camera time, you are dead set becoming a vigilante. Moving on.
Let's go to Gotham. And that top moment, number 1, is Gordon is tripping balls.
Tripping balls big time. Yeah.
The man he basically just scarecrows him here.
Yeah, effectively.
And it's like he has like a little bit of like Joker toxin or something in there. Like his plan is like, I'm going to make everyone fucking crazy. I'm going to put it in the water supply.
No. So that's the blood. That's the blood from Alice that he's gonna use for that. So this is the Red Queen dust, and this is what the name of the episode is. This is the Red Queen, and this is this psychedelic drug or whatever that causes people to effectively just lose their minds,
and the brain cooks itself or some shit.
Effectively.
It was fucking terrible, man. Like he's imagined a happy life with Lee.
Yeah.
The whole time he's got Barbara like taunting him throughout his trip.
Yeah, which is weird considering it's his trip.
Yeah.
And he would effectively control how he sees Barbara and how she comes across to him and all that sort of stuff. But she still comes across as exactly the same, like, crazy person, not the Barbara that he used to know or, necessarily anything like that. She's just the same person.
And well, you're right here. And she says something interesting in his trip. It's like, you're making me this.
Yeah, exactly. You put me in this sexy nurse's outfit and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So that could allude to some future reconciliation between the two. Whether that's going to happen or not, I don't know. But who knows, man? This is Gotham. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. That's a top moment, apparently.
Yeah, because you know what? There's not much in this episode to tell you the truth.
Yes. Top moment number 2, Gordon's dad isn't dead. Or is he?
Is he?
Is he?
Do you care?
Well, it's interesting because how it comes about is this is part of the trip as well.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, oh, you know, son, like we've got this whole creed or whatever. And the secret to that creed is in my ring, as it were. The ring on his finger. And so the secret to that is inscribed on the ring. And I think it was like, while we breathe, we shall defend or something like that. Now, where this is all coming from, that is his dad not dead, is the reveal right at the end of the show, where it's kind of like that really annoying Court of the Owls chick is talking to this, you know, her boss, apparently, it would seem, and he has the exact same ring. Is it Gordon's dad? I don't know.
It might be.
But didn't Gordon have his dad's ring? So would this guy have a second ring?
Well, it could be like a membership thing.
Yeah.
You know, maybe Gordon's dad was caught up in the Court of Owls back in the day.
Exactly. That's why I think it's more likely.
Yeah.
And Gordon will become a pivotal, you know, part of this whole thing. Because the show revolves around him. It's not revolving around Bruce Wayne or anything like that. It revolves around him. So if you've got a Batman Court of the Owls storyline, naturally it's going to revolve around Jim Gordon and not Bruce Wayne, because we seem to have moved past that. Because how it looks like it's going to be now is that because he's the son of probably a member of the Court of Owls,
he's like next in line to take, say, a throne or something
like that. So it's gonna come back on him in a big way.
You know what's great about this? Another fucking storyline is getting added to Gotham.
Well, it's the same storyline that they were using with Bruce Wayne.
It's just been rehashed.
They've just rehashed it, which Gotham does.
Yeah, because they kind of wrote themselves into the corner.
Yeah.
With the whole Court of Owls.
Because they knew that like a 10-year-old, or however old he is, no one cares. But, you know, this young Bruce Wayne wouldn't be able to tackle the Court of Owls because he's a kid. So they're kind of like, all right, we'll kind of like just sweep that under the rug like it never happened. And now we'll come back and we'll do, Jim Gordon, he'll do.
Yeah. I feel like the writer's room had all the cast pictures up on a wall, spun them around and threw a dart, and whoever... That's it.
Yeah.
Your Court of Owls now, mate.
Or they are so confused themselves. They've got like red string basically all through like their writing room.
Yeah.
And it's like linking things. And all of a sudden it's come back and the Court of the Owls lines up with Jim Gordon. And
like, that's where the most crosses come over.
It's like, all right, well, X marks the spot. Let's work with that and see what happens.
Yeah.
Very, very Gotham-y.
Very Gotham-y. Let's go top moment number 3, and that's the Enigma, Penguin, and Isabella love triangle.
Yeah.
Man, is it just me, or did this like storyline just feel fucking stupid? Like really stupid.
Very stupid. You know, again, very Gotham. Like, is there another word that you can use to describe the things that this show does? It's just, the infatuation that Penguin has with Nigma in itself is weird.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the Penguin is supposed to be a character that, you know, becomes like this major crime boss. And I don't think he really sort of cares or has like connections to anybody, really. And the Riddler himself, you know, is obviously supposed to be this, you know, this really big, important sort of villain and all this sort of stuff. And it's kind of like what they're doing with the two of them doesn't really make sense to any of their overall storyline. It's kind of like they're trying to just like throw something different in there.
Yeah, and I think that's all it is. You know, they're trying to be edgy.
Yeah, and that's fine, but it's not working with this. And then to bring in a doppelganger of like, you know, Kristen Kringle or whatever her name is. Man, I don't know. It's just like
Gotham loves its doppelgangers, man.
It does, man. Like, what the fuck?
You know what? I'm going to call this like real early.
Yeah.
I reckon, and I guarantee
Yeah.
that Isabella is like some sort of long lost sister,
Right.
of Kringle.
Yeah.
And she's coming back to seek revenge for her murder.
Yep.
And get
That
this,
is very, very spot on, I would say.
That's 100% Gotham there.
Yep.
And Nigma will be saved by the Penguin.
And then they'll fall in love.
And then they'll fall in love.
And things will be weird.
It will be fucking terrible.
Yeah, but that's a very good point. I don't know. I just... Gotham is a show that has so much potential. And even in these episodes, there are glimpses of
brilliance
of what the show could really be if it just concentrated. And it's just like, it's so scattered. It doesn't know what it wants to do. Like the Mad Hatter, has been in the show now for 4 episodes or something like that. That's probably the longest they've had an actual villain in a consistent storyline, even like a Fish Mooney or something like that. But they've kind of set on that for this X amount of time, and whether they've wrapped it up or not, like I don't know. But this is the kind of the problem that this show has. It's just like pulling from here and there and this and that and all over the place. And it's just very, very frustrating to watch at times. But I don't think it's that bad. I think it has potential, but I just don't know what it's doing.
Yeah, I don't think they know what they're doing. They've got too many storylines, not a clear direction.
Yeah.
They need to just slow down, pump the brakes.
Yeah, and just focus on one thing and move in that direction. Like another situation that they're now trying to bring in, another storyline, is the relationship between Bruce and Selina.
Who gives a shit about a 12-year-old relationship?
No one cares.
No.
Like, yes, in the grand scheme of the Batman universe, he does have some sort of connection and relationship, as it were, with Catwoman and Selina Kyle specifically. But like, why are we investigating that now when they're just kids? Like, it doesn't matter. Bruce Wayne has already done his, found his parents' killers.
Yeah.
Like, does he have any reason to go on to become Batman
That's
now?
exactly right.
And you would think, like, no. And are they just completely done with that? Like, is he even going to, train anymore? Like, why is he trying to become a detective? What is he doing? Fucking Jesus Christ, man. It's frustrating.
It is frustrating because Gotham can be really, really good. It goes like shit, brilliant episode. Shit, brilliant episode.
So I was having a look on IMDb just to see kind of how they were reviewed and rated and all that sort of stuff. Each individual episode of even this season so far is 8+.
You're kidding?
Yeah, 8.4, 8.2, all this sort of stuff. People get into it. Like, there is obviously a market for it. I don't really understand what that is.
Yeah.
But maybe we're missing something.
Maybe.
I don't know.
We just might not be the demographic.
Maybe. I don't know who the damn demographic is, but if you are out there, let us know exactly what it is about Gotham that makes it so damn good, apparently.
Yeah, that's brilliant. What do you rate it?
Oh, damn.
Now, we have a rule going on now. When there's no Fish Mooney, it gets a bonus half point.
Oh, okay, that's fair. All right, so with the extra Fish Mooney half point, I will give it 3.5 points.
Ooh.
Stars.
Whatever
you want to call it. So 3.5. It would have gotten a 3. Again, the story, in itself, there was some good parts. Maybe I'm being a bit generous with a 3, but I think it's not terrible. I don't think it's like this show where is it the worst thing on TV? I don't know, but it's very fucking Gotham, isn't it?
It is. With its bonus half point, it will get a 3 from me.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's just all over the place. Let's move on to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with top moment number 1, Johnny fucking Blaze.
Johnny fucking Blaze.
I fucking called this.
Yeah, but can I ask you this? Is it definitely Johnny Blaze?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? So Johnny fucking Blaze question mark?
Yeah, I think that's
yeah.
The inflection in the end to make it seem like a question, because it's this is where Robbie essentially tells his origin story, as it were, to his brother Gabe and how he became the Ghost Rider. And yes, definitely there's a spirit of vengeance that rocks up on a bike, and it's definitely got a Johnny Blaze looking skull.
Yep.
But they never reference it as Johnny Blaze, and most of the other Ghost Riders do go around on a motorbike, so it could technically be a different one.
Technically it could be,
but I hold out hope that you're right, sir, and it is Johnny Blaze.
Oh man,
and we get the two of them together.
I have a couple of questions about this, this whole origin story.
Sure.
Do you think he transferred his powers, or do you think he generated another Ghost Rider?
Generated another Ghost Rider.
So do I.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a situation where he's just gone, I don't want to be a Ghost Rider anymore. And here's the spirit of vengeance. There are multiple.
Yeah.
There are multiple Ghost Riders at any given time. There doesn't just need to be one. Or there have been multiple throughout history. I think it's just more that he has created a new one, Ghost Driver, as it were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fair enough. And do you think that they will team up now with the Inhumans, I guess,
Yeah.
to take on the new superpowered Eli?
So, do you mean they, as in Johnny Blaze and Robbie Reyes?
Yeah, so we're going to get like
Reyes?
Ray Easy, mate.
Yeah, Ray Easy. I would love that.
I think, honestly, I think that's going to happen.
You reckon?
And I'm just going to fucking make a mess all over this room if that happens, mate.
I still hold out hope for a Ghost Rider Netflix series, to be
Yes.
honest with you. I would really prefer that they gave Johnny Blaze that kind of Netflix treatment.
Yep.
I think that would work so well on like a series like that.
Yeah.
But if they don't, then let's get him somewhere. So why not bring him in? And like this is, imagine having 2 Ghost Riders.
Be fucking amazing.
It would be. Which, I guess, when we're speaking about how cool Ghost Riders can be, or the Ghost Rider, whatever, would bring us to top moment number 2, which is that Ghost Rider seems to be the strongest thing S.H.I.E.L.D. have come up against.
Yeah.
Because he fucks up their containment unit, doesn't he?
He does. And, like, I feel like this is something that is kind of looked over quite quickly.
Yeah.
Because the team, Fitz is just like, that's impossible. He shouldn't be able to do that. Because you just have to think about the people that have been in like different versions of these containment units.
Yeah.
The Hulk,
Yep.
Thor, they couldn't get out of this.
Loki.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. It
kind of puts it into perspective, doesn't it?
It's crazy. It's Ray Easy kind of says that, if he wants to get out, he'll get out. And he does. He doesn't just like get out. He smashes the doors off the thing.
Yeah.
And you can see Fitz especially kind of like just shit himself. It's kind of like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's insane.
It is insane.
When you really think about it.
That is mad power. Mad power. There are, like, Ghost Rider is probably, one of the more powerful, beings in the Marvel Universe. And I think it's very overrated at times. This is somebody who has effectively defeated, say, a Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So as powerful as the Sorcerer Supreme is, Ghost Rider took him down with a penance stare, which we are yet to see.
Oh, yes.
So hopefully we get that at some point.
That's how the team up will work.
I don't know how it's going to work, man.
Get a double look.
Oh, double penance stare.
Yeah.
Double penetration. Anyway, but this it's just what it does is it gives Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this thing that no one else has at the moment.
Yep.
This next level comic book character. This kind of effectively, it's cool, isn't it?
Well, yeah,
I don't really have words.
They literally got one of the the strongest thing in the Marvel Universe at the moment.
Maybe.
Possibly.
Top moment number 3.
Top moment number 3. Uncle Eli is more villain than friend.
Isn't he what?
What a dick, man.
So Eli is basically the real cause behind all the trouble at Momentum. And he's basically just fooled everyone, hasn't he?
He has. He's pulled the wool over our eyes. He's done a bloody switcheroo.
He has. I may need you to explain something to me because
Okay.
I feel like I haven't really grasped what is going on.
Yeah.
In the sense of what are they trying to do? These people, like with this, they're essentially they were trying to create matter.
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff. What is he trying to do now? Like, what does he want?
I guess he wants godlike powers.
Right.
And that's what I know too.
Excellent. So-
Like his motives aren't explained yet.
Yeah, I suppose. But I guess I don't really, all the other ghosts, I don't really know what they were trying to do. It's very, I don't know if it's actually been really explained at all. But anyway, it's kind of like this Darkhold that has been so carefully or like hidden.
Left in a basement.
Left in a basement that Nick Fury and the Red Skull and all these other people couldn't find. These normal old folks have found it, and it's just, it's in anybody's hands now.
Yeah.
S.H.I.E.L.D. have it, so that's good, I guess. Anyway, Eli looks to be the big bad for the rest of the season.
He does.
Yeah.
He really does. So he's, teamed up with S.H.I.E.L.D., but fucked him over.
He has.
Just a jerk, man.
I guess the only question that I would really have is in regards to Agents of Shield, do you think it's an underuse of like Ghost Rider, or like do you think it's a misuse, as it were? Because Ghost Rider now has very kind of comfortably come in line and has become a effective member of Shield, which kind of goes against what he's about, which is just seeking not blind, but vengeance against those who have wronged him or others or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think like it feels like they've kind of wrapped that up now?
Yeah.
And like where does he go from here?
Yeah, because he kind of like just complies almost instantly.
I guess my point is more, do you feel like now he's just going to become another side member of S.H.I.E.L.D.? You know, and it's not going to be as like effective as it could have been?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think by the end of the season he will go on his own way, because he has his mission of vengeance that he has to do. As much as no one likes it, he's got to do it. That's his thing.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I don't know. I have some fears
Ooh.
about where it could be headed.
You think he'll just be kind of like
Just
brushed
a
off like
side-
the Inhuman things?
Yeah, just kind of like just a side. He'll become like a side character and just one of the members of S.H.I.E.L.D. as much as Daisy is, or Fitz and Simmons and all that sort of stuff. And they'll use him occasionally in this episode, whereas it should be the major focus. Like if they're going to change their titles and have their Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. titles on fire because of the Ghost Rider, then it should be much more than that. But I do fear that that's the way they're going to go.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. I have a question.
Yeah.
What happened to everyone that was in that power plant?
You tell me, champ.
Just gone.
Gone.
Catchalater.com.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out soon enough. But yeah, it's who was in there. There was Coulson, Fitz, Ray Easy.
Marvel's Diggle.
Marvel's Diggle was there, yep. What is that guy's name?
I couldn't tell you. I can never remember it. But he's jacked as fuck.
He's jacked as Diggle.
Yeah.
Marvel's Diggle. Yeah, we'll find out next week anyway. Rating?
Rating. 4.
4.
Yeah.
I would...
No, 4.5.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
Really?
I had to step it up. Well, just for the fact that Ray Easy's just proved how strong he is. It's just like ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the reason why I'm giving it a 4.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it was very like, I don't know, man. I just didn't get into that episode as much as it was the origin story. And you got to think like, holy shit, we got like a Johnny Blaze maybe reveal. And, we saw how strong the Ghost Rider can be. The rest of it just didn't do a thing for me. So therefore, it's a 4.
Fair enough. Let's move on to The Flash. And top moment number 1, H.G. Wells is a damn fraud.
H.G. Wells. So basically, very quickly, it kind of becomes found out by Cisco that he's not really helping anybody at all, and he's not coming up with anything on his own. He's sort of just rehashing what everybody else is saying.
Yes.
And not providing any real sort of like...
scientific input.
Yeah. And it turns out... the whole reason for this is he is in fact a bit of a fraud, more author than scientist, as it were, and more just on his Earth, the face, as it were,
Of Star Labs.
Yeah. So they're giving him a couple of weeks to prove himself and to prove his worth.
He's like an Imagineer.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and what an Imagineer is someone who just like comes up with the idea and gives it to other people
To actually form
Engineer.
into something.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's kind of like, he calls himself like a muse. So, he comes up with these ideas for people to then do because he doesn't have any practical know-how.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's an interesting, like, I guess, plot device.
It'll provide comedy, if nothing else.
Yeah.
But we are going to miss that, that having that extra, super, super smart, genius level guy to help these guys out, because think about how much they relied on Wells.
Exactly.
In, the previous 2 seasons, like heaps. And now they don't have that. So will that come and bite them in the ass to the point that they're just like, mate,
You're gone.
you've got to go.
Yeah.
We're going to have to search for another one.
I have no doubt it'll come to the crossover show, and that's when he'll go.
Yeah. Bring the Western guy back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the other one, the old-timey Wells.
No. We want the mime.
Oh, the Mime Wells.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring back the Mime Wells. Top moment number 2, monsters invading. Isn't it?
Fuck.
Yeah, le what? Yeah, look, this really just served as a plot point to kind of move Julian Albert's story further.
Yeah.
Like forward, and kind of have him, to go from this really distrusting of metahumans and all that sort of stuff, and the Flash in particular, almost borderline jealousy kind of, to having a really sort of like a solid appreciation for the Flash, but then instantly also become best friends with Barry.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Well, he had a lot of beef with Barry because Barry was so trusting of metas and all that kind of rubbish, but it is very convenient.
Yeah. To go from I hate your guts to let's go get drinks.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Very quickly.
But, I guess, does this to you, because, okay, so how it all panned out, this hologram was just run by a little kid, and I guess they tried to throw like a little sort of subplot about bullying is bad and all that sort of stuff, and it is. But it doesn't mean that you go and get a giant hologram and try to destroy an entire city.
Yeah, just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, how can these people not figure this out straight away?
Yeah, like at what point has it not phased through anything else?
Yeah.
If it can phase through, like if bullets phase through it or anything like that, if it touches anything, a car, a power line, anything, it's just going to phase through it. But at no point did that happen until right at the end when they kind of realized, oh, it's a hologram. Cool. Yeah. But
I saw it straight away. I'm like, there has to be a hologram.
I didn't know where they were going with it. Once it kind of disappeared, you kind of like, okay, maybe it's just, but I thought it was going to be a distraction for something else that was happening.
Yeah,
not just
right.
some kid that was being picked on at school.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, same.
Yeah. But again, just a plot point to move Julian Albert's story further.
Yeah.
I'm liking this guy, by the way. Like, I think
He's
he's going to be
fantastic.
a good addition to the show.
I've got a question, though.
Yeah.
Do CSI, like, investigators get guns?
I don't.
Issued to them?
What happens on the show CSI? Do any of those dudes have guns?
That's a good point. I should go and actually watch that just to find out.
Yeah, it's very...
Because I don't know if they're actually police officers.
Can I ask you this? Do CSI get squad cars? Because that's what he rolled up to the
That's
scene
true.
in an actual, CCPD squad car.
Maybe just like, I need this.
Yeah.
I need this. This
Just
is mine.
flashes his badge. CSI, I need this car.
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, look, it's yeah, whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, like you said, he's very jealous, very jelly
jelly.
of metas, and obviously, he's not special.
Yeah.
Oh, boo fuckity who, mate.
None of us are.
None of us are.
Look at us two.
except for Barry.
Yeah.
But
does this, so do you think this leads more down the Dr. Alchemy road?
Yeah.
Like, is this something where he, maybe goes to alchemy and gets powers?
Yeah,
perhaps?
100%.
Because the way they've kind of played alchemy so far is that he is giving powers to the people who were in Flashpoint who had powers.
Yes.
So you would then assume that the Julian Albert character from Flashpoint had powers.
Yeah.
I think it's leaning more towards, obviously, very, very obviously, Wally West doing that.
Yes, 100%.
So I don't know whether they'll go...
Both of them?
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah.
I don't think they will. But I don't know then what they would do with that character if they don't.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he'll find out that he has a split personality and he is already Dr. Alchemy.
Interesting. A bit of a Fight Clubby type of thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, we'll see what happens, won't we?
We will. And that will take us to top moment number 3, and that is Caitlin is becoming more frosty.
Isn't she?
Yeah, man. She's a cold bitch.
She's a killer, you would say.
Some would say.
Killer Frost.
Well,
What did you think?
Man. They are like shitting on her.
Yeah.
Like,
just keep in mind that this is all going to build to the Kevin Smith directed episode.
That doesn't like make me feel any more confident though.
Yeah, but the whole reason why they're doing it, because Kevin Smith's episode will be the Killer Frost episode.
Yeah.
But probably handled pretty badly.
It is. It's handled really badly. So she goes and sees her mum, her estranged mum.
Her estranged mother.
Yeah.
Who's also a super genius scientist type
Owns
thing.
her own fucking whole company.
Yeah.
Yeah. super successful. And anyway, she goes there and they test her powers and they try to find a cure. And like, this is what kills me, man.
Yeah.
She went from like super sweet, lovely girl to like fucking killer. Like she was going to kill this guy.
Yeah.
All because he's like, no, you have to hang around here. You're going to be my scapegoat.
Yeah, but that was also a pretty jerky thing to do.
Let's
Let's be honest.
Yeah, it was. But like that would never happen.
Yeah.
Like
I know what
that.
you're saying.
Yeah.
Especially a Caitlin Snow character as well. To be who she is and who she has been this entire time, to then in the span of 3 days effectively from the time she like kind of had that shower where oh God.
Oh my God, flailing your arms
flailing
around.
my arms around, just smacking my microphone. That's how passionate I am. But where she goes from, having the shower and kind of, really becoming like the visual look of Killer Frost and freezing the shower and all that sort of stuff to going to being this, borderline killer is the space of a couple of days.
Yes.
And it's, very, very, very rushed.
It is very rushed. And like, sure, it could be the powers of fucking her mind up. That's 100% believable.
Yeah.
But the way they're doing it is just really bad to the character. I feel like it's like an injustice to Caitlin Snow.
Yeah. And, is there any coming back from being Killer Frost? Like, if you become Killer Frost, do you then become like Lover Frost? Like the opposite of that? Like, if you were this character, does your character then have the ability to turn around and become good? Who knows? Like, it seems to be like if it is in that much control and that much willing to kill and, be so friggin' like emo level angry all the time. Yeah, you're right. It's an injustice to the character.
I've got a question for you. Do you think Firestorm's still around since Flashpoint changed?
Like the Robbie... No, that's his real name. What was the character's name?
Well, yeah, her.
Ronnie?
Ronnie. The Ronnie Firestorm Matrix.
Yeah, maybe. It could be.
Because you remember there was the African-American guy that he could have fused with.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Do you reckon that's happening now?
But that was the bad dude.
Was he a bad dude?
Yeah, he had like those evil intentions.
Yeah, but it's Flashpoint, so it can be different now.
I don't know. I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe those two will come together and he will melt her frozen heart.
Oh, that's lovely. I think, though, this whole Flashpoint thing kind of really... It gives it too much room to just pull in whatever it wants and just to do whatever it wants. And now this character has this because it's Flashpoint. And now this person all of a sudden is doing this now because it's Flashpoint and, all this sort of stuff. And I hope they don't overuse that. And who is the villain? Alchemy. But is it? And are we just going to get Freak of the Week because of Alchemy until we get to, the actual showdown with Alchemy?
I have no doubt that's what we're going to be getting.
And this has been a problem with The Flash.
The Flash, yeah.
And let's not forget, Reverse Flash is still out there.
Yeah, he is.
And he's now rolling around and doing his thing in, Legends and wherever he is and all that sort of stuff. So he could very well come back. And
100%.
God knows.
Yeah. What do you rate it?
Wait, don't forget that we now will probably have a Flashpoint version of Zoom. So Teddy Sears, the actor, could possibly come back as someone else and everything as well. And let's just rehash the 5 people that we have in the show as different characters because of these alternate timelines.
Yeah. What's interesting? We've got 2 time travel shows here, and I wonder how they affect each other.
Well, we'll find out soon because it seems like they're all coming to a head.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Are we rating?
Yeah, we're rating.
Okay. Meh. I don't know, man. Like,
do you want me to take the lead?
Yeah, it was not the least impressive of the shows this week, but it didn't really...
Pretty close.
Yeah, it didn't really do much more.
This might be the worst episode of The Flash I've seen in a long time. It's a 3.
Ooh. I'll agree with you just because it's easier to do that than actually come up with my own ideas. But 3 is fine. 3 is apt because... man, this didn't do a thing, and I worry about where the whole thing is going to go. But like to have a hologram as the main thing, and like really it was just some kid that was like being picked on at school,
just
and
weak,
it was weak. The whole thing was very, very weak. Probably then a little too nice to give it a 3. It could also almost get a 2.75, but I feel like we're too friendly with Flash to ever give it below a 3. So 2.75. Take that, Flash.
Oh fuck.
Arrow.
Let's go.
Let's move on. Okay, now Arrow. here's something that I also wanted to mention because I haven't had a chance to review Arrow yet since it's been back. I am actually digging what they are doing with season 5.
It's good.
Can I just say that?
It's a lot better. It's like season 1 is happening again.
Yeah, season 1, season 2 even.
Yeah.
It's definitely, the writers have definitely gotten their shit together and they have come back on track in a big way. As I mentioned to you before we went on air, one of my more favorite shows of the new seasons.
Yeah.
For sure. It's definitely done the turnaround that I hoped it would do, but we're also only 5 episodes in, so...
Still, it's time to fuck it up.
If anyone can fuck it up, it's Arrow. However...
sure.
Dolph Lundgren comes in next week.
Oh, damn, son. Oh, damn.
Oh, damn. It can only get better.
Right.
Top moment number 1, Cade. What's that?
Spartan is back, and he is badass.
He is a badass. As mentioned by, the Artemis, I think it was, or might have been Mr. Terrific. They were just fanboying out over the fact that he was back and in action and just kicking ass and looking like a bad dude. All it really did, though, is it kind of served as the plot point to enable Diggle to become kind of Wild Dog's mentor.
That was weird, though.
More so than you would think Oliver Queen would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you would really sort of, like, this is a situation where they kind of looked like they were building for Oliver to really sort of push for Wild Dog to become the next Speedy or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it turns out that they're probably going to have Diggle as his mentor.
That's good.
It is good. It does.
I want Diggle to be my mentor.
I want Diggle to be my dad. Hashtag Diggle be my dad.
Oh, Diggle for dad.
Diggle for dad. However, like how they're doing it is like it looks like Wild Dog then is going to be the major focal point of this new group of kids, obviously. So you've got to say sorry, Artemis, and sorry, Mr. Terrific and all that sort of stuff because the focus is definitely on this kid. But getting back on track, it is good to see Diggle back.
Oh yeah, man.
It's good.
It is so good.
However, do you think this opens the door for, like, say, a Thea to return to the group?
Oh, I was going to interrupt you earlier and say he's got this team going on. I have no doubt we're going to see like Team A come back.
Yeah, but then, like, what do you do with all these people? Like, they're a dead set. There'll be 48 people in the Arrow Cave or the Quiver or whatever you want to call it. But there'll be, it's too much.
I don't think it is because I think they'll all need to come together for this 4-night crossover.
Yeah, but like think about it like this though: as the show progresses, who gets screen time?
Oh yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? Like we've already we know what Diggle can do and we know what Thea can do and all that sort of stuff. But is it time for her to get a better storyline?
Possibly,
because she's kind of at the moment she's just been pushed to the side. And she's just like she's Oliver's assistant effectively, and not his assistant, but you know what I mean. And so she's not really developing at all as a character. She's just kind of been pushed to the side and she'll pop in every now and then with some sage advice or, to basically berate Oliver for, killing people again, which is cool, by the way. I'm totally down with that.
You're down with that?
I am down with it. But yeah, I don't think it's necessary to bring her back into the fray because I would worry then that it would be oversaturated with characters and then we wouldn't have...
It would be too watered out.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's a fair point.
Top moment number 2.
Top moment number 2. The human target arrives in the Arrowverse.
Yes. So this is the Christopher Chance version, which is the main version of the human target.
Yes.
If you are unfamiliar with the human target, I also am a little bit. It's kind of... he's basically, as they've portrayed him, effectively he is a master of disguise.
Yeah.
But he's also an expert tactician, martial artist, all that sort of stuff. Doesn't have any powers or anything like that, but has the ability to take on the traits and characteristics and the look of anybody, not through magic or like shape-shifting or anything, but, Mission Impossible style masks and whatnot. So this it's played by the dude who played
Nuke.
Nuke.
Yeah,
in Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones.
Yeah, Will Travel or Trevor.
Will
Traver.
Travel.
Is that his name? I don't know.
Will Travel where?
Will travel to the DC universe.
And that's what he did.
So obviously this character has, as we've seen in this episode, it has ties back to Oliver's Bratva days. And
say it right.
Bratva.
Bratva.
Yes. Anyway, it has ties to Oliver's Bratva days, which is obviously going to come back and bite Oliver in the ass at some point very soon, probably.
Well, it does. We see that by the end of the episode that he actually gets spotted.
Yeah.
By his well, I guess it's not really a new love interest for him, but the reporter.
Yeah. So she's got a photo of him and now knows that the current mayor of Star City used to be in the Bratva. You got to roll the R's, man, but I can't. But I think this is another situation where, and I don't know how much they're going to use the human target. It seems like the guy is probably a bit too big to not bring back fairly heavily.
Yeah.
But it's kind of very convenient that he was used, for this job to save Oliver back in the day before he even knew who Diggle was.
Yeah.
And now he happens to be a friend of Diggle's, and Diggle is the one that brought him back into the show, to help out Oliver again.
Yeah.
It's very arrowy.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's that fucking TV convenience.
Yeah. So I don't...
There is a lot of that this episode. Like, how does a reporter get this picture of Oliver Queen from 5 years ago when no one else fucking even knew of him?
Yep. Apparently he was supposed to be on the island.
Yeah.
And he wasn't. And all of a sudden, she has this image. It's very TV convenient and frustrating as well.
And you know what? That could literally be anyone that just looks like him.
Yeah. Well, it could be human target, couldn't it? Because that's what he does.
Yeah.
He looks like anyone. And how are we supposed to know now going forward that anybody in the show is anybody? Are they going to use this now as a plot device where anybody could be the human target now, because that's just what he's doing? So anybody starts to act suspiciously or different or anything like that, we're just going to have to assume that it's a human target, which, mind you, is not the first time we've seen him on TV either. There was a show called Human Target. This is just a bit of trivia.
Oh, right,
I'm
okay.
just throwing out there. It came out in like 2010 or something. Lasted 2 seasons.
Did it really?
Yeah, and it was about said guy.
Wow. There you go.
Interesting.
Missed the boat on that one.
Didn't they? Also failed miserably. So we'll see what happens with this. Let's hope it doesn't. Top moment number 3. Church. Done.
Finally.
Finally or already? It's kind of like...
It's been leading to it, man.
Yeah, but like... I know that it's there to now lead to Prometheus being the big bad for the rest of the season. If that's what happens. It's just a shame because like for Arrow, which has really obviously done what they said they were going to do and get back to that street level sort of action and stuff like that. This was a good street level character. And now all we're doing is we're going back to like the
Merlins.
The Dark Archer from the earlier seasons and stuff like that. It's kind of the same thing, and I worry that it's just going to lead to that same sort of thing. And I swear to God, if this person turns out to be Malcolm Merlin, I will shoot myself.
No, it's not going to be Malcolm Merlin.
No, but it might, because it's Arrow, and you just don't know.
Yeah, no, that's fair call.
It's going to be Tommy.
It'll be Tommy, 100%.
100%. You heard it here first. It will be Tommy Merlin, because you can't just bring a new character into the show.
Yeah.
It has to be someone who was presumed
From his past.
dead from his past. Could be his dad. Who knows? But it does, begs the question, who is Prometheus? Let us know, by the way, who you think Prometheus is. We're going Tommy Merlin.
Tommy Merlin.
For sure.
For sure.
However, he does look like a super badass.
He does, man. He's reckless. He's ruthless.
He is ruthless.
He is savage.
Just throwing knives and shit all over the place. He don't care.
And he's very, like, he basically made Tobias his bitch.
Oh,
anytime he was in the same scene.
Yeah. Big time.
His screen presence is fantastic. And he'll be on screen for 2 seconds and you just, oh, damn.
Yeah. I also forgot to mention, now that you say that, I did mention Artemis and Mr. Terrific and all that sort of stuff. I totally forgot about Ragman.
How awesome is he?
He's pretty good. Taking it away from that street level kind of thing that they want. Mr. Terrific, anything but terrific at the moment. But Ragman is cool as shit.
Yeah. Mr. Terrific, man. Get out of here. I love you, but...
Either get out or do something terrific, because right now you're shitter than Laurel Lance was when she started taking boxing lessons at what I believe was Wild Dog's gym.
Yeah, it was.
Anyway, Legends of Tomorrow. We haven't rated it.
Oh, rate it. Yeah, 3.5.
48.
48 out of 5.
Yeah. No, I give it a 4.
Okay.
Comfortable 4. Very happy with what the show's doing at the moment. Even like the flashbacks. And
this is the only time I'm enjoying flashbacks.
Yeah, from season 1, man. This is the first time that they've actually done something decent with the flashbacks, and it actually seems to be it's now affecting the current story in the sense of it's not just oh, this is a similar situation that happened to me when I was on the island or anything like that. Or I don't know. It's just it fits in better.
Yeah. Mind you, the flashbacks from when they had Deathstroke, that was still good.
Yeah.
They weren't too bad.
No.
No, didn't like them?
Was not a fan.
Fair enough. Legends of Tomorrow.
Legends of Tomorrow. So basically, a top moment, number one, it's essentially a zombies versus Django Unchained type of episode. So we go back to 1863, I think it was, Deep South Civil War.
Old mate injects himself to kill himself? I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, it's kind of like he was transporting it, but it kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
But he was infected.
He was infected.
He was infected with this zombie-like virus, crashes into, 1863, because apparently there are thousands of people using the time stream to get around. Conveniently, and this time pirate, whatever you want to call him, crashes into there and releases this virus. And this is where the whole thing is based around. It's based around zombies and whatnot. And that's cool, I guess. Zombies are always cool.
Yeah,
and they did a pretty good job with it, I guess. But it really served as kind of more a
filler episode.
It was definitely a filler episode that tried its hardest
to get deep. Yeah.
And kind of failed.
Fell well short. I mean, they gave it a really good shot.
They did. And, we're talking about the terrible way that the slaves were treated back in this time and all this sort of stuff. And obviously the effects that it has on Vixen and Jax and, as they are, part of this, they've kind of like, we've got it bad, but, I guess Jax is a little bit sort of, he's kind of like, oh, well, I understand, I know. And then he goes out there and he sees exactly how they were treated. And he's like, oh man, I had no idea that it was this bad.
Yeah.
This is terrible. And, the injustices and all that sort of stuff. And it tried so hard to get deep and it tried so hard to hit us with something that should have really, really, hit it home, because it's still like, it's as important today as it was back then, and the effects that it has on people and all this sort of stuff and racism, blah blah blah. I don't want to get deep on the show, but it was let down by the acting of said kid.
He is just terrible, man.
And not always,
but this episode especially.
Yeah, and it's when you're looking, and I don't know how to pronounce the kid's last name, so I hate saying
just call him Jefferson.
But, Franz Drama, I think, I don't know how do you pronounce it. But, when you look at, the interactions that he had with Victor Garber at the end, and obviously Victor Garber's been around for a long time, and he's been doing TV and movies for the longest of times, and has his shit together and knows how to act and all that sort of stuff. And he was bringing it, and Jax, man, was just is trying to portray this despair and this frustration and this anger and this... but the spirit as well and all this sort of stuff. But holy shit, did it fall short, because the kid just cannot dramatically act.
Yeah, that's not his chops, eh?
It's not his chops. His chops are cocky and, fun-loving and adventurous getting out there and, and sort of saying, oh, yeah, I can go to this earth and do whatever I want, because I'm Jax.
Yeah.
But when it comes to trying to do this and this message that they were desperately trying to get across, which could have been brilliant... failed.
Yeah,
unfortunately. So, Legends of Tomorrow, maybe stick to the action.
Keep it fun, mate.
Yeah, keep it fun. Keep it lighthearted. Don't try to hit us with messages unless you're using Victor Garber, and probably Victor Garber only.
Yeah.
Top moment number 2, Steel, Citizen Steel, Captain Steel, whatever the kid's name is starting to test the limits of his strength or his abilities.
Yeah, but he's not trusting of it either.
He isn't, but he's kind of really he's fine to let himself get in these situations that could definitely kill him.
He's very trusting of himself.
He is, or he's very trusting of
the subconscious to kick in his powers.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's one of these things where it's kind of like he's gone from I don't know how these things work, and I don't know how to bring them on, to I'm still going to do it anyway.
I'm going to jump on that whole crate of fucking dynamite,
nitroglycerin, and just blow myself up and see what happens. But it is, it does give us a sense that he could potentially now be the most powerful of the legends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because when you look at them as a whole, it's kind of, there's not a lot of actual real power there is there. As much as, Ray gives himself a lot of shit for not being anything without the suit, Mick Rory isn't anything without his gun.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
As an
yeah.
example, Vixen, who was giving him shit, is not much else other
Without
than
her
a good
amulet.
fighter without her amulet. She doesn't have any superpowers.
Yeah.
She has magic that is given to her via an amulet. If she loses the amulet, she doesn't have access to the magic anymore, does
That's
she?
right.
So, there's not a lot of actual power. Victor Garber's character, what's his name? Old mate.
Heatwave.
No, the old dude. Whatever his actual name is in
Stein.
the show. Yeah, Stein. He's just a genius.
Yeah.
Without fusing with Jax. And Jax is a good mechanic without fusing with... Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
There's
Like-
no point for this whole Ray giving himself so much shit because none of them are anything without
Their said
some
things.
sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And, we actually see Mick Rory hand him the
cold gun.
The cold gun.
Yeah.
It's like, here. It's kind of like... The way I saw that was like, here, stop sooking.
Yeah, stop sooking. But it's kind of also the complete turnaround from, Mick Rory kind of hating everything about Ray Palmer to them becoming like,
be my partner.
Yeah, partners in crime, but not crime. But anyway, the whole point of all of this is that Steel is now the one that actually does have what you would, assume a superpower.
Yeah.
So does he then, instantly go from hemophiliac historian to strongest on the team?
Yeah.
Instantly.
Instant. So, my top moment 3 isn't like really a top moment. It's something I want to discuss.
Okay.
And is like Vixen is out of time.
Yeah, so she's from the 40s?
Yeah, 1940.
She's from the 40s, which isn't that long ago in the grand scheme of things.
No, not at all. But the way she acts, the way she talks, is like she doesn't know anything that's happened.
At all. Ever.
At all.
Yeah. It's
Like she doesn't believe it. And it's like, you're a
member
literally-
of the JSA.
You're the member of a JSA and you don't believe in like the history events. It's like you're literally right here.
Yeah.
While it's happening.
Yeah, I don't know. It's this was a situation where before the show like came back for its second season, they announced that Vixen would become one of the main characters.
Yeah.
And we saw Vixen on Arrow and it's obviously a different actress and all that sort of stuff, but you were kind of like, "Oh, cool. This could really work out well for the team and all that sort of stuff." But yeah, it's come in and she's been more of an annoyance than anything.
Yeah.
The thing that frustrates me the most is the overuse of gorilla power. Like, honestly, you can tap into any animal, in the animal kingdom, I would assume. Yet it's your go-to move is gorilla.
All the time. I think that is, though. I think that's a CGI budget thing.
Oh, how hard is it to do a very, very light sketched blue version of a fucking elephant?
Mate, I think you are like putting their job down.
Honestly, I don't know, but can't we just get like zebra kick?
Well, no,
or
the thing with-
rhinoceros charge.
Well, yeah, those are all great points, but the thing about her is her powers will let her fly.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why
Exactly.
haven't we investigated anything like this yet? Like, yeah, sure, she's only been on the show, what, three
episodes or something, and they may explore that, but she has used gorilla strength 48,000 times.
I'm gonna
since
get a
she's been on the
clicker.
show. Yeah, get a clicker, because
Yeah.
I guarantee you'll run out of clicks in how many times she uses gorilla strength.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen a lion bite. I'm just calling them, as I see them. Lion bite once.
Yeah. It's not hitting the mark.
It's the whole character isn't hitting
Yeah.
the mark at the moment, and she will come around. And she will
Hopefully.
start to, I thought for a second that they were going to explore maybe a love interest between her and Mick Rory.
Yeah.
I dead set thought that they were going to do that. Not so much now, but it was kind of more just used as a way to trust, like for her to trust him.
Yep.
That he would be like, this was back in the Shogun episode.
Yep.
To trust that he will do the right thing in the end and all that sort of stuff. He's not just a criminal or whatever. But yeah, it's just the character itself. She's just she's not really into it.
She's not clicking
No, not with anybody.
at all. What do you rate it?
Legends is good. Like it's it hasn't blown me away in the second season, but I never really expected it to. It's just taken what it did in season 1 and it's moved forward with the same kind of thing into season 2. It's just lost a couple of characters that thank fuck it lost. But you know, it's who is the villain like right now? So we're talking
it will be the Legion of Doom. They've like popped up here and there.
Well, we haven't seen Malcolm Merlin yet.
No, and that's only due to time constraint, like where they are in the time.
Yeah. So we've seen Damien Dark and we've seen Eobard Thawne, and we know that the Legion of Doom is coming. But it kind of seems at the moment like you're watching it, and at the start of say this episode, I think it might have even been, they're kind of like, yes, you know, we've got to find what's his name, Our Man, Rex Tyler.
Yeah,
we've got to find Rex Tyler's killer. You know, this is what we've got to do. We're going to jump in the time stream. We're going to do for that. And then at the end of this episode, they're like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
Where are we going? Like,
yeah,
what part
exactly.
of time? Like, what do we do? It's like, hang on. You had a thing.
Like, you had a clear mission.
Yeah, this was your mission. Why are you now second guessing what your mission is? So I don't know what's like. Do you know what I mean? There's no clear villain or like,
we're kind of just going from scenario to scenario each week
until we get the Legion of Doom.
Yeah. Which we actually get them next week in a Miami Vice style episode.
Oh,
which I'm actually, it's going to be fucking cool.
Cool. All right. So yeah, look, 3.5.
Yeah.
3.5's
fair.
3.5.
That's what I'll give it to.
Cool.
So there's no comic of the week again, guys.
Oh, god damn it, Cade.
I have like dropped the ball big time on that.
You have, since I've been gone. Damn you. Look, we will definitely get back to it next week, though.
Yes.
Won't we?
But, will we?
Yes.
However, in the meantime, like I said the last couple of weeks, we have partnered up with Comic Blitz. So if you sign up using the promo code ComicConPod, you'll receive your first month of the Comic Blitz Unlimited plan for free.
Can I just say, being back for the first time since any of this has happened, that's cool as shit.
Yeah.
That's a month worth of free comics.
Do you know how many comics you could read in a month?
7.
Are you illiterate? Like,
I just look at the pictures.
Yeah.
But it takes me a while to even do that. Look, but Comic Blitz is it's a fantastic app full of excellent publications. You got Valiant, IDW, heaps more. So if you're tired of the same old Marvel and DC fare, looking for something different,
get on board.
Get on board, son.
They do X-Files comics, man.
Yeah, I saw.
That's my
I
jam.
knew you'd be excited about that.
That's my jam, man.
That is your jam. Not so much me. Don't really care about the X-Files, but they do have Archer and Armstrong, which is fucking cool. So if you wanted some advice on what you can read on Comic Blitz, X-Files from Cade, Archer and Armstrong from me. So there you go.
Get that into you.
That's going to do it for another episode, my friend.
It is.
Stay tuned next week, though, as we bring you Marvel vs. DC Round 4.
Round 4.
And that's going to be one of the last times
we're going to do this.
We do this, yeah. So we're going to make it big. It's not the last time, but it's one of the last times.
Yeah.
I think we're going to go to 5.
5.
Didn't we say 5 round? It's a 5-round title fight. Anyway, so it's going to be one of the last matchups between these two heavyweights. We're going to get into it and bring you some fantastic Marvel vs. DC matchups. Yeah.
And how about we start doing the bigger characters now that we're leading up, to the final rounds?
Okay.
You know?
Like?
Maybe some Superman versus Hulk.
Ooh, nah, I don't like that. Everyone's done Superman versus Hulk, man.
Yeah, but have they done it our way?
Oh my god!
That just blew your mind.
Anyway, we'll bring you something.
Yeah, we'll bring you
week.
something.
Yeah, and of course, we'll bring you all the top moments from our regular bunch of shows as well.
Are we going to tell them?
Yes.
Do you want to?
Okay.
We're going to split the show.
Are we?
Do you want to?
I don't know. You've kind of thrown me here. Maybe. We are looking at... Let's get some feedback,
Okay, let's get some feedback.
So give us some feedback. Facebook, Instagram... No, not Instagram, but Facebook, Twitter. However you want to actually give us feedback. Yeah, should we split the show?
So what we're thinking of doing is splitting all the, I guess, CW shows into one show and have all the other shows on another one.
Yeah.
And do it over 2 separate days.
2 separate days, 2 separate episodes. And that'll give us more room to run some other features and, stuff like that and, get into the news a bit more and whatever.
Yeah.
We'll see. what happens. But let us know what you think about the potential of splitting the show in two, or should we keep it as the one? Whatever. Do you guys want 2-hour episodes every week? Because we can do that.
We can.
If that's what you want. Let us know.
Or would you rather 2 1-hour episodes?
Let us know. Let's thank some of these people. Thank you, as always, to the listeners, the subscribers, the reviewers, etc. Make sure you do jump on that iTunes, leave us a review, and
A 5-star rating.
Well, you can leave us a 5-star rating if you want, but it's more important that you actually just let us know what you like/dislike, but more like.
Yeah.
Because we want to know. Make sure you follow us on Facebook at Comic Confidential.
Yeah, it's just Comic Confidential. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and that's at Comic Con Pod. Link for the YouTube is in the notes.
Yes.
And we've also got the Snapchat, that's Comic Con Pod as well.
Can I ask a question, Amy, because I know you'll be listening to this episode? Snapchat. What's up with that, you guys?
Yeah, I kind of took over a bit.
Did you?
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything. Maybe I haven't added you as a friend.
You probably haven't, man.
Because I haven't been seeing much. I feel like you guys are dropping the ball on that too. There is a website. That's comicconpod.com.
You can check out the other shows that's part of our network on there.
The Advisory.
The Advisory.
Starring James and Todd. Yep.
Each week.
Each week. It's mostly the two of them.
We've got a Patreon, so if you want to support the show, you can jump on there and support us for as little as 25 cents a week.
Yes.
So that's $1 a month.
It is. That's right. A brilliant mathematician, as always.
And I guess I'm going to tell you something pretty cool.
You telling me or them?
Well, I'm telling you and them.
Ooh.
We're working on some other shit, guys.
Oh, we are.
And it's going to be good. It's going to be some good shit.
Unlike this.
This is terrible shit.
No, look, this is great. But yes, we do have quite a few shows, as it were, coming in the works. And we also will very, very soon, that's all the information I can give you on that in as far as the date goes, very, very soon. I'll be starting our movie commentary episodes with Deadpool, as we have discussed. We've got a loot crate.
Jump on there. Think you get a discount. Don't quote me.
How have you not figured that out yet?
Have you seen how much you got to read? That ain't me, man.
And, of course, we have partnered up, as previously discussed, with Comic Blitz. So get onto that. Comic Con Pod is the promo code, and you get free shit. Who
For a
doesn't like
month.
free shit? For a month.
Yeah, man. Like, if there's any type of shit that I want, it's free.
Yeah. Cool. We're on the same page. So thank you for listening. As always, I'm Troy.
And I'm Cade.
And this has been Comic Confidential.
Cheers.
Peace. Don't act like I haven't heard you people try to steal my peace.
Man, we don't want your piece of shit, eh?
Fuck off.
Not for real.
Are you going to hit stop?